I had been pretending that this season of being busy in my business was only a season, but it just kept saying next week, next month, next quarter, and that never came to an end. It's the fall of 2017. We're on fall break with my 3 kids and my wife in Utah. We're enjoying ourselves, and we'll go from an activity with the family to me working in the room, another activity with the family, and I go do some work in the room. And I'm not even realizing the fact that I'm not fully present there. And one night, my wife and I are talking when the kids are asleep, and my wife looks at me, and our business is pretty new, and it's growing a little bit. And my wife and I in conversation, she says, "Pete, I feel like I just want you to know I'm so proud of what we're creating in this business, but I feel like you're driving this boat, you're speeding, and me and the kids are on the back of the boat hanging on for dear life." You see, I had been pretending that this season of being busy in my business was only a season, but it just kept saying next week, next month, next quarter, and that never came to an end. And I believe that there are so many entrepreneurs out there that have lost their families to their business. Their families have been in the back seat. Their families have played kind of the secondary thing because as entrepreneurs, we're so driven and we want to be so successful. And we think that if we take our eyes off the prize in business, that our business will fail. And the reality is it's completely backwards. Too many times we have our eyes on the prize and we take our eyes off of our family, which is what our business is supposed to serve, is our family. But yet as entrepreneurs, you're not hearing that message enough. You're hearing, hustle your face off, do whatever it takes to succeed, make sure you hit your numbers. And therefore, too many people lose their families. And so for all of you out there that have families, I made a commitment that day in Utah that I was going to shift things and I was going to change things. No longer would my family be a servant to my business. My business would be a servant to my family. And in the midst of that, I wanted to prove that the hustle message, that you could still grow your business even when you didn't hustle your face off, where your family was a servant to your business or in the back seat to your business. And so that day I began to make some shifts and changes. I want to tell you about some of those, and I want you to find what it is that you can do in the midst of this. The first change that we began to make a couple of months later, my wife and I got together and we went and planned our whole entire next year. And the first things we put on the calendar were the things that were related to the family. Those took priority over everything else. Our family vacations, our getaways, the things that we do as a family, those were first. And that became so beautiful because it was put on the calendar. The second thing we did, which has become a standard practice for my wife and I, is we began to meet every Sunday for 30 to 60 minutes. And we would communicate about what was coming up in the next week, what was coming up in the next month, and we would put our family dinners on the calendars, our church time on the calendars, our family fun time on the calendars, like all the things that we would do as a family. We would make sure that weekly we had communications. But then when there was a busy time because of the business, we were aware of that because we were communicating every week. That's the second thing that we did. The third thing that we did, which has been so cool, is I began to get my kids involved in the business. Not only by traveling with Dad, but also being involved in Dad's events. And so I've taken my 2 oldest kids all across the world over the last couple of years. Everywhere you can imagine, they've gone with me. And it's been so incredible because they've gotten to meet great people like Seth Godin. My daughter helped Seth Godin with his books and carting his books and giving his books away and having him sign it. And he was so grateful to my daughter. Like, they've experienced the road with me. And the bonding and the connection that we make when it's just Dad and them is so cool. My son was just on my live event a few weeks ago, and he got to ask to raise money to build a library in Africa for kids. Like, my kids have gotten involved in the business. And I'm so proud of that because friends like my friend Dan Martell had recognized how I got my kids involved, and he just recently did it himself, and I know that he loved it. But the fact that other people are seeing that in me means that my intentionality around that is being seen, not just by my friends, but most importantly by my family. The fourth thing that I did is I made a shift. This is a technical shift, but I said, okay, if I was on 30 stages last year, physical stages, not only am I gonna drop that to half, oh no, that's gonna make business lower, go from 30 to 15 stages, but I'm gonna increase the number of online stages that I'm on. And that's what we did. We cut our physical stages in half and increased the number of online stages we were on. And now I could hear all of my kids' little feet above me because of the fact that I was online at home. But I still believe these are powerful. I just realized I didn't need to do as many. So those are the 4 things I did and continue to do and do really well. And because of that, incredible things have happened. Because of that, our business is almost 10x'd, almost 10x'd. And so I want you to know you don't have to compromise your family for the sake of your business. Because if you do this thing right, this will grow and this will grow. The thing that I'm currently working on right now, and it's the last thing that I would tell you, is I'm currently working on how to be fully present, not just physically fully present, but mentally fully present. That's the thing I'm working on the most right now as we speak today. With my family, when I'm with my family, the pattern that I'm beginning to do and have done as of recent is turn my phone off because of the distraction my phone can be in the presence with me and my family. I haven't perfected that, I haven't arrived at that, but I also know how distracting technology can be when you're in the midst of your family. And I'm requesting that of my kids too. And it's creating some special moments for us. And so my ask of you today is, do you feel like you have to compromise this in order to have this? Because I'm here to tell you, no, contrary to popular belief and what the gurus and experts are telling you, you don't. And I want you to know that one day they're gonna regret that. Those that have families, like kids, they will regret that one day. And I don't want you to have that regret. And so what is the one thing that you can begin to do to make sure that you're showing up more powerfully for your family?